half hour is dedicated to the stories of some truly great Oklahoma women. What they have achieved and overcome can inspire us all.
We can't promise it'll make your days less hectic, help the kids get along, or make you look thinner. But Stainmaster carpet does last up to 50% longer and stay up to 30% cleaner than other carpets, adding more comfort and style than ever to your home.
Come in for the great fall fix-up for special savings on Stainmaster carpet. Like this fabulous Frisane for only $269 per square foot installed. There's never been a smarter time to fix up your home than right now at Mill Creek Carpet and Tile.
When you hear the piano of Ramsey Lewis and the voice of Michael McDonald, you know you found the smoothest place on your radio. Smooth jazz. You know Kenny G. And you know Earth, Wind, and Fire. You're definitely in good company on the smoothest place on your radio with Smooth Jazz, CD 103.7.
Since 1996, Chef Michael Fusco has entertained guests with a delectable menu selection and a wonderful dining experience. Michael Fusco's Riverside Grill is his latest creation, welcoming guests for a truly flavorful menu selection where everything is cooked to order by the finest chefs. Winner of the Wine Spectator Award, Michael Fusco's Riverside Grill offers pages of complimentary and unique wine selections. Michael Fusco's Riverside Grill, 9912 Riverside Parkway, 394 Chef.
This week we had the privilege of sitting down with Becky Dixon. From a ranch in northeastern Oklahoma, she set her sights on the big world of sports and became one of the first female hosts of ABC Sports.
This is ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Good afternoon, I'm Becky Dixon. Today, Wide World of Sports features the WBA light heavyweight title fight between Marvin Johnson and Leslie Stewart. Also in a few minutes, my co-host Al Troutwig will report live from the site of tomorrow's Indianapolis 500.
Here's Becky.
Keith, I just talked to the Michigan doctors, and they say free safety Veda Murray has injured his right leg. They think it is a sprained ligament in his right knee. He probably will not return to today's game right now. As you can see, he's sitting on the sidelines with ice on that knee, a very disappointed young man.
So growing up here in northeastern Oklahoma, on a ranch from a small town, to all the way to ABC, you know, and beyond, and back here to Tulsa again. Tell me how it all got started and what sparked your interest in TV and sports and just how it all kind of came about.
You know, it really just evolved over time. It was nothing I dreamed of as a child. I had a very narrow window on the world growing up in northeastern Oklahoma on a ranch, as you said. The closest neighbors I had were my cousins, and they were 3 miles away. I rode the school bus to school 15 miles a day to the nearest school. And I think more than anything, my window on the world was through books. I was an avid reader. I loved reading. I didn't travel a lot as a child, but I did love, you know, and as I look back, I loved reading, and I loved reading about other places, other experiences. And when it came time to go to college, I wanted to go somewhere close to home, though, because I hadn't been away from home very much, and I chose the University of Tulsa. And I majored in education because that was a field that many women were majoring in those days. There were really 3 fields open to women at the time: nursing, secretaries or office assistants, and teachers. And really, when you think about it, those were the 3 primary focuses for women back then. So, but I minored in journalism, partly because, you know, of my love for reading and news and information. And I graduated from the University of Tulsa, and I actually did my student teaching and taught first grade for a couple of years. And then I decided I wanted to do something different. I wanted to pursue something, I wanted to pursue a career that would go with my journalism major. And at the time, women were really flooding broadcast news. So I thought, well, I don't know if I can make that leap without any experience, but there were no women doing sports broadcasting, so it was really kind of a calculated move because I looked for a niche, and I felt like that would be a good niche for me. I love sports. I grew up with 3 brothers, and I played basketball in high school and followed the Sooners on television with my grandmother. So I literally talked my way into a job at Channel 8. Channel 8 was the #1 ABC station in the country at the time, and we called it Camelot. It was just a wonderful place under James C. Lake, Tom Goodgame, the general manager, and Chris Lincoln was the sports director. We did so many innovative and different things. We had a large sports production department. So I talked them into giving me a chance. And
the city of Tulsa is the place for the Western look this week, a look that has long been a part of our American heritage. But rarely has the Western look been shown with such beauty and poise as it was today by the IFR Rodeo Queens. For Total 8 Tulsa Sports, Becky Dixon reporting.
Tell me about that, just getting, the gumption, so to speak, to kind of put together your idea. You've got to sell them on you from not necessarily having the experience to do it. And also, now you said women were getting into the field, but not necessarily sports at all. So how'd you kind of play yourself up in your own head to walk into them?
I have no idea where I came up with the courage to do that, but it was, I had learned early on that if you wanted to accomplish a goal, the first thing to do was to set the goal and then do everything you could to achieve it, and that's basically what I did. And I was not comfortable in selling myself. I remember reading, though, later after I went to ABC Sports, James Lake, who was the owner of KTUL, said in an article about me, she's one of the most ambitious women, but in a good way. And I thought, I'm ambitious? I never saw myself as ambitious, but I guess looking back on it, I must have been.
So you've really kind of carved out your own niche in sports, partly because of a love for it. But then I would imagine, there's so much to learn about sports, and even if it's just locally, who all the big players are and things like that. So it's really something I would imagine you had to immerse yourself in.
Well, I did, but I was a quick study. When you've worked as a news reporter and news anchor, you don't know everything about every story you cover. We just don't. We can't. Right. But you have to be able to, to be a quick study and then to be able to communicate what you've learned. And I think also I had a natural inquisitiveness, and I was able to ask questions that I think, maybe the average viewer wanted to know. Right. And especially because, and maybe it worked in my favor not being, someone who was immersed in like sports statistics and every sports trivial fact, because I could relate more to the average viewer, and I think that may have worked in my favor.
Yeah, I bet people really identified with you and liked following the fact that now here's a female that we're watching covering sports in our area.
I think they did. I covered a lot of women's sports that hadn't been covered before. I covered a lot of kids' sports, family sports, and that was one thing Mr. Lake really liked us to focus on, were more recreational sports. He said, we've got baseball, basketball, and football, but there are people fishing in Oklahoma, there are people bowling, there are kids playing soccer and softball. So we really covered the gamut, and because we had such a big sports staff, we were able to do that.
Yeah.